String concatenation is perhaps one of the most common types of operation performed on strings. After all, what do we do to assemble more complex strings from smaller strings? We typically can print them one by one, or we can try to assemble, and that's probably more typical situation in many programs, to assemble longer strings from already existing pieces of text, right? So let's do a little bit of demonstration here. I'm using this string concatenation demo, but before we get to the rest of this program and discuss what's going on here, so let's do just a simple example of concatenation. For example, I can create a string named hello and assign some sort of value to it, and then create another string like this. Again, assign some sort of text to it. Like I said, we may try to assemble a longer string from the two of these. And we can say greeting equals hello plus world. Okay, so this plus sign, when the plus sign is used with strings, it concatenates them together, basically attaches the left-hand side to the right-hand side, and the result is that we have a resulting string assembled from the two of these. So let's just try to do this printing, just display this information. I'll also make a pause here so we can pause the program just to see what is going on. Press any key to continue. Okay. And we'll just execute the stop portion here. All right, so again, I typically press F5 or Alt-R and just hit enter to run the module. The shell opens automatically. You can see this is the result of our processing string concatenation, and we print this jam together hello world. So if I don't like this, I can, let's just close this window, and if I don't like this result, I can actually do more string assembly here by adding something like, delimiter between the two words, and even add a comma here and even add something else. So I can mix already existing string objects with double quoted or single quoted strings with more information in them. So I save this and run again, and you can see that this time it prints a more, readable type of text. Okay. By the way, oftentimes I don't like to use a mouse to manipulate my windows. So on Windows platform here, what I can do is just press Alt space, and it adds this little window manipulation menu. Now I can navigate with my up and down arrow keys to close this window, and I get this, and I just hit enter, and I can close the window without the need to switch to use my mouse to close the window or do something else with it, right? So there are some other useful things that you can find here is, for example, move, right? So if you press like I do here, Alt space, and you can say move, and then once you can see that my mouse cursor changes to double crossed arrow, and I can now use my arrow keys to move the window around my screen. It's just a little hint that it's easy to sometimes to work with your windows this way. Perhaps there are more secrets in there, but these are the options that I use quite often. Okay. Let's now try something else that I already have prepared earlier when putting together this file. So this is just another example of an attempt to use a string concatenation, but clearly this time I'm trying to concatenate a string with the numeric value. 123 clearly is an integer, and let's try running this code. So I'm just going to save it, Control S, Alt R, hit Enter, run the program, and the first portion of our code executes. You can see we're now waiting for this input. I just simply hit Enter and enter an empty string. And here we have this type error that tells us that you can only concatenate strings. str, by the way, is the internal data type of the string. It's called str internally in Python interpreter. So whenever you see a message about str, it's about strings, okay? And it says that you can only concatenate strings, but not an int type, which is 123. Okay, then let's basically, how do we fix it? Right, so this time I will just comment this again. This was here just for the demo. My comment here says that since automatic number to string conversion is not supported, as we can see right here, this would be an automatic conversion to a string or something else. So this is not supported. You cannot do this. So a program must explicitly convert digits to a string using str function, which is sort of like constructor for a string from a number or from some other type. And so in our next example, we say hello, which is an example of the string. And because we already have a string, plus sign immediately is resolved as an attempt to concatenate strings. So then the interpreter expects another string on the right-hand side, and we force this number to be converted to a string by applying str with parentheses. You can see this type of function call, which returns back a string. And so the numeric value 123 is converted to text, right? So it becomes like double quoted 123. So this is equivalent to saying 123. Okay, so that's the result of this type of conversion. So I'll just switch it back to the way it was, and we quickly save this code. Let's run it. And yeah, so this time we say hello 123. Okay, all right. So we'll close this, and yeah, so in this segment, the only thing that I would like to add to this discussion, that you may notice that I often add this press any key to exit the program right at the end of my code. And you may be wondering, why do I do this? And the answer is that I often run my programs directly from the file manager window, right? So I just go oftentimes just over here and just double click the source file. And if Python is integrated to the file manager, which is an option when you install your code, so then in such case, the file is opened automatically by the Python interpreter and immediately starts to execute. Right, so you can see that this is now, I just double click on the file and it says hello world, then says press any key to continue, then says the next thing, and now it gets to the bottom of the execution of this program where it says press any key to exit the demo program. So when the interpreter starts, it automatically opens this console window. This press any key to exit allows me to see the results on my screen before the console window closes. Otherwise, it would just close before I can see anything. And with respect to this, if there is any runtime error, the window will close before I get to the successful ending of my program. And then I know how that I have to go back and run program inside Python shell to really see what's going on. Okay, so here I close it. So we try to recreate this runtime error as we did before. If I attempt to run this again inside my file manager window, simply by double clicking on it, the first part of the program executes fine. I am now sitting on this line waiting for user input the first time right here. And if I hit enter key, something wrong happens. You know, we generate this error. And now I know that, oh, this was not really a successful run of the program. So I just go back to my IDLE or some other environment where I can edit this code and try to run it from within the shell. Run module, so this opens the shell. So this time, as before, I hit enter, and I can observe the error message and go back to the original code, trying to fix the problem.